Happy Transfer Tuesday, everybody, the day of the week where we take a look at our finances to see if there's any money moves we can make in a positive direction. Before I get into this week's transfers, though, I'm going to talk about the student loan save program one more time, only because if you are thinking you want to put extra money onto your principal, you might want to hold up a second. You guys may have seen the video I posted Sunday about my thoughts about the SAVE program and basically just outlining that I'm feeling a bit deflated that all of my payment is going 100% to interest. And despite some of you thinking that I'm just looking for more things to bitch about, no, I want to keep an open dialogue about what is actually happening on the SAVE program, since there's still quite a bit of confusion and not a whole lot of concrete verbiage on the website about how people's payments are being applied. There may be, from what it sounds like, some strategic planning that will need to go into making payments for those who do want to pay more towards their principal and try to get ahead. I published that video Sunday evening, and wouldn't you know it, about an hour later, I got a phone call from a friend who had not seen the video. We had talked about the same concerns the day before. So it kind of sparked her to look at the payments she's been making. So for some context, my friend owes about $56,000 or $58,000, I forget, doesn't matter, but based on her family size and income amount, she has a $0 payment, and she was also on an income-driven repayment and just dumped on the SAVE plan. So in living below her means, she does have extra income that she was wanting to put towards them to just get rid of them. So in September, when interest started accruing but no payments were due yet, towards the end of the month, she decided to put $500 towards her loans. And of that payment, I think about $112-ish went to interest. The rest went to her principal. So when October rolled around, she signed up for auto debit, and her thought was, okay, I'm paid twice a month, bi-weekly, and I want to put $250 of each paycheck towards my loans and get them paid off faster. Through the auto debit, she elected to pay $250, and then on her own, out of her second paycheck, she went in and put an additional $250 a couple weeks later. In her mind, she was trying to do the mortgage principal. If you do 2 half payments a month instead of 1 monthly payment, it actually gets you a little bit ahead and you pay off the principal faster. So that was her thought process with doing 2 $250 payments throughout the month when she got paid. Now, the conversation that I had with her sparked her to go back and look at exactly how the additional payment was applied. So through the first payment, which she had on auto debit, which came out about the 9th of October, and of the $250, again, about another $110-ish went to interest and the rest to principal. In her mind, okay, I covered the interest and then some, so now my second $250 payment should be going all to principal. But that was not the case. Again, about $110, $112 of that second payment also again went to interest and then the rest to principal. Based off that information, and if any of you have experience and did the same thing, I would like to know how it played out for you as well, because it seems what they're doing is whatever day you pay in money, you just need to cover the interest that's on the loans right then and there. Her auto debit payment essentially cleared the slate, but then the next day or whatever, it started accruing interest again. So her second payment, that same kind of amount, went to interest again. So she had to cover the interest again. So it seems like there needs to be some strategy behind putting that additional principal to your loans. Say for me, for example, I have a $335 monthly payment. If I wanted to change my auto debit to be, say, $500, it's not like $335 is going to go to the interest and the additional is going to go to principal. No. And or if some other day in the month I was like, you know what, I got paid today, I've got extra, I'm still going to have to keep clearing that interest every time I make a payment throughout the month, is what it seems like. Now, again, that's why I'm asking for you all, if you've done that, what's been your experience? How has it played out? Is there anyone that has better understanding of this? I'm curious and I want to keep this open dialogue going so that we understand. And on Sunday's video, Student Loan Gal commented, and I think she hit the nail on the head. At the end, she said, "This has been a bumpy start to repayments, but it will be more clear in the next month or two, so nobody panic yet." And I think she's right. Like, there's a learning curve on everybody's end when it comes to what the heck's going on and what's the best, most strategic way to try and get ahead. I did a little bit of experimentation myself. I do have one of my loans is like $830-ish. So I just thought, you know what, Mohila lets me pick a specific loan I want to put towards money towards if I choose to. So I did that. I elected to put $20 towards loan number 22 out of 26. The payment has not cleared in yet, but I just wanted to see if I can direct it at a specific loan that's maybe not necessarily gaining a ton of interest itself. That particular loan, okay, it has a principal balance of $828.52. The accrued interest on this loan, as of, it's showing yesterday's date, but $3.81, which is when I applied the payment. So I'm hoping of the $20, $3.81 should go to interest and then the rest to principal. We'll see. It did take quite a long time for my monthly auto debit payment to clear in, so I likely won't know for a few days, but I'm just curious. For my own knowledge, also would like to have a best plan of attack, dollar for dollar, on when does it make most sense to make an overpayment. So for the auto debit cycle, if I'm diligent in keeping track of when the billing cycle resets and maybe try to do a lump sum on that very day when the interest is at its lowest because it just reset for the month. Maybe that's the move. And maybe that's been the sensible move all along and y'all knew that already. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. And just a quick blurb on the people that think I'm ridiculous or just being overly bitchy and not being grateful for the $1,000 a month that they are forgiving of mine, and I'm just wanting more things to bitch about. No, I know me, and yes, my total amount that I owe is overwhelming for me, and I do not see a way to get ahead, really. And yes, I've shot myself in the foot by requesting a refund on my student loans from the money I paid in during the pandemic pause to allocate towards investing instead and going harder towards financial independence instead of debt payoff. And yes, I made those choices, but also I want to do the right thing on both ends. And if one day I do have some extra money, then I'm like, well, why don't I apply this as much as I can to my principal? You guys know I go back and forth on what I feel like is the right move in the moment. And so it's always changing. So I just want to know what is the best game plan for myself. Anyway, it's been suggested, why don't you just save on the side for student loans as much as you can, whenever you can, and that way, if and when rules and regulations change and I don't get forgiveness at the end or whatever, I have a lump that I can dump on them and say, okay, this is how it's going to be now, whatever. You know, I'm just prepared for that move or that situation if it should arise. And I do have to pay back the full amount, which is so aggravatingly over the principal that I ever even borrowed. And which ties into why people don't quite understand my aggravation either, but clearly those people have not been under the influence of predatory financial practices of student loan providers since they were 18, so maybe they can't necessarily understand my feelings on the situation, but I know, I try not to let people's opinions bother me, but they do. I'm sorry, this Transfers Tuesday is coming out real long. Let's get into the transfers now. That was just some background on why I keep talking about the SAVE program if I don't intend to go hard on my loans. That's why I helped one person realize that her money wasn't allocating as she thought, so now she's going to switch up her strategy and save herself some money in the future. So there, I saved one person some money. It is worth all of the bitching right there. My job is done. Okay? That's why. All right, anger over. let's get into the transfers. So on the 20th, I got a PayPal notification that Mark had sent me $25. Thank you so much, Mark. And then on the 22nd, I got another PayPal notification that Mark had sent me another $40 and basically outlined that he thinks it's a good idea just to start saving on the side like others have suggested and save up for the potential of rules and regulations changing, and then I have to come up with that lump sum. And I do think that's a good idea. Hitting my net zero mark, as I've mentioned, it just feels like a good spot to kind of stop and reassess and ask myself, where do I go from here? Because you guys know I usually come up with like an annual game plan. What do I want to achieve financially this year? In quarter 4 of this year, it is kind of an odd time to do it, but it having a net worth 0, which by the way, my 401k keeps dragging me back a little bit, so I'm not quite there yet, but I still want to take time to really think through my goals going forward and how I really do want to structure my money for investing in real estate and student loans and what that's going to look like. I just haven't had a chance yet. As you guys know, I'm getting ready to live life offshore again here and there, and in fact, I'm deploying on Saturday. And so I've just been a bit stressed out with getting all of my training done and prep for that and mentally preparing to be offshore again for 8 to 10 more days and more days, 8 to 10 days. And I still have to work Monday through Friday, even though I'm deploying Saturday. It's not impacted on my hours until next week. So there's just a lot to do in a limited amount of time. And I'm stressed and my mind has not been able to even think about my finances right now. And so I'm hoping and guessing I might have downtime on the boat to just really sit there and contemplate these kind of things. So I'm probably going to come back and just word vomit all over you way more than I am right now. So I'm sorry. I forgot to mention also, this was not a pay week for me. So those were the only transfers I have. Normally YouTube pays out on the 21st, but I did not meet the payout threshold last month, so I did not get a YouTube payout this month, and that's totally cool. But I did have to pay $100 for my car for routine maintenance, oil change, filter changes, things like that, so yay. And yeah, again, I'll let you know how that $20 student loan payment shakes out. Thank you guys always for watching and listening and sharing your helpful insights and things that you guys have done, your experiences. I'm still curious about additional payments on the SAVE program, even though I'm not personally making them. Yes, I am. I just made one. But you know what I mean. I still want to have the conversations and the knowledge for myself and everybody, whoever needs it. So please continue to share with me your guys' thoughts, opinions, and experiences. I appreciate them immensely. I'll probably do a quick update video once that payment does process in later this week, if it does, if I have time. And just to say, bon voyage! Thank you guys for watching. I will see you sometime soon. Bye.